Today, I will attempt the impossible, mission impossible. And what will I do? I will play me, a mere mortal, flesh and blood and very limited brain capacity. I will play against the silicon chess god known as Stockfish, hidden inside this amazing chess computer running through my phone. And I will play it at full strength. So I will say new game. And I want to play, as you can see, not at ELO 1600, 2100, no, 3000, level 30. I want to play white, but I want to have assistance level 3, as you can see. And hopefully it will be on the screen as well. So that means that it will highlight, you can see, because it has the capacity to highlight different squares, and it will say if the move I'm considering is a blunder, it will make that move red, and mistakes will be blue. But inaccuracies, good moves, excellent moves, and the best moves, they will all be green. So if I choose between those, I will never play a mistake, but I may play inaccuracies. Is my chess understanding strong enough, good enough, to pick the excellent moves and the best moves almost every move, and then hold a draw against ChessUp, Stockfish, the way I did in the last video, where I was playing on assistance level 4, where I didn't play any inaccuracies. Okay, so that is the challenge. I will put this away. The game, as they say, is on. I will play pawn to d4. That is the move that I know the most about. And we see pawn to d5, symmetrical defense. And if you know anything about me, despite my calm and relaxing sort of style or general vibe, I am also a bit of an explosive chess player. So if I get a chance to play pawn to c4, I will play that move. And now, okay, we do not see Queen's Gambit accepted with the computer capturing the pawn, which we saw in the last game I played against the computer. So we just see Queen's Gambit declined. I think I will actually play a pretty timid move in this position. I will play pawn to e3, just protecting this c4 pawn after we have seen pawn to e6, and now we see bishop to e7 by black. And it's because I want to stay in my knowledge of opening theory for as long as possible. Because if I play something that allows the computer to play some offbeat line that is good, but that I haven't studied at all, because I am not an encyclopedia of chess opening knowledge, then I will not be able to draw upon my experience. So after bishop e6, just play very easy move here, knight to c3. If the bishop hadn't gone to e7, bishop e7, then bishop b4 is a move that you will often see in these situations. And now we see knight to f6. So after knight f6, I'm thinking just knight f3, knights before bishops, and I guess that still has to be theory. I don't see this exact setup so much when I play, but knight to f3 has to be theory here. I guess queen c2 is also fine, and probably also bishop d3, but I would rather delay that move for a little while. Okay, so the machine castles, playing very, very, very respectful chess. I feel that it respects me quite a bit here. It's not going wild, it's just playing according to sound opening principles like the ones I teach on the channel. Maybe it has watched a lot of ASMR chess videos. Maybe that's why it's so good. I am in a normal game. If I was playing Blitz online or against a friend or whatever, I would snap play Queen c2. The alternative, of course, is bishop d3. I will try to delay that one more move, and I will play queen to c2 here. And okay, so now we get a sense of the strategy for black. So they are going for the Queen's Indian type setup with playing pawn to b6. They want to play bishop to a6, which was Nimzovic's idea about 100 years ago. Alternatively, you can go to b7. That was the traditional way, but actually the bishop coming to a6 can put some significant pressure on the c-pawn. I believe that bishop d3 here is pretty good. Then bishop a6, and then pawn to b3 to defend. But I kind of want to play pawn to b3 already, and that's sort of an intuitive thing. And let's see, because this is of course a learning experience. I am of course making this story about I want to beat the machine and I want to, or maybe draw it for my, so I have something to be proud about. But of course this is really about me playing chess against a super strong opponent and learning while I'm doing so. If you want, by the way, here's a little bit of housekeeping, to do the same and get this amazing chess board for yourself, I have good news and I have bad news. The bad news is that you have to be really patient, because they sold out. So many of my awesome viewers used my link to buy this that they have none left. So they are in pre-order now. But the good news is that they really want you to buy the pre-orders so that they know how many they need to order, and it's good for business. So they are selling the pre-orders really cheaply compared to how much they usually charge. That's one thing. And the other thing is that my coupon for 10% off still works. So you get the discount for pre-order plus my 10%. So that gets actually quite manageable. Of course, it is an expensive piece of hardware, but you know. So if you have the patience to wait for when they get them all made, then you can pre-order them. The link is in the description. If pawn to b3 is a green move, I will play it. Although bishop b4, I will try, but I am afraid of what can happen on the light squares here. Pawn to b3 is green, so we will try, and then probably, okay, we just see c5 right away. And my idea was that I wanted to play bishop to b2, and maybe get this bishop on a good diagonal. So that is what I will try to do. And let's see. Okay, so it does capture here. So we see d takes c4, and I kind of want to capture towards the center. So I want to capture with my pawn. Is there any reason why I shouldn't? that? I don't think so. So I will capture like this. And okay, so it plays c5 after I've played b takes c, it plays c takes d. And here I have the rather interesting option, which I would probably snap play in a blitz game if there were any sort of beer involved or anything. I would play castles long. I would play king to c1 and rook to d1, pinning the pawn and having an X-ray attack on the queen. That looks very, very risky, of course, also since I'm playing against a superhuman silicon monster that will just exploit any tactical mistake I make. Let's see if it is even green. No, it is not. It is a blunder. So I will not play it. Then the question is basically, of course, maybe rook d1. Let's see if that is. Yeah, that is actually green, but it doesn't feel like a move I want to make. So my question really is, do I capture with the pawn? Having more central control with these two pawns in the center. But of course, at the same time, they would be vulnerable. They would be subject to attack. The c pawn is already very, very vulnerable. So let's see, what does it say about the knight? The knight can capture, and the pawn can capture. Let's say knight captures, then knight takes d4, then knight c6. Can't be played. And I think I will try to capture with the knight. Also because this pawn is not blocking the dark squared bishop. So I don't need the e3 pawn to move in quite the same way. Okay, bishop b7, putting pressure on the g2 square. Makes a lot of sense. Can I play pawn to e4 to try and shut everything down? It will hang the knight on d4. So should I try something like rook d1? Or should I, because now I can't really play bishop d3. I delayed that for a little bit too long. Because then the bishop can capture on g2. So what do you think I should do? I could play pawn to f3, which somehow doesn't look as horrible as I would imagine. It helps me really control the e4 square. It protects against this very strong bishop. Otherwise, I want to play rook d1. So my candidate moves are rook d1. That's green. Is f3 green? It is green. So this being a learning experience, I will play the intuitive move. If you watch my channel, if you are one of the regulars, hi to everybody who's a regular and hi to everybody who's new. Everybody watching this video for the first time, you guys are awesome. Thanks for clicking on this video and then staying with me for so long already. That is very cool. Pawn to a6. And to all the regulars, hi guys and girls and everybody. You guys are also awesome because you are watching this channel regularly. That is so cool. That is just so cool that you want to do that. Now, and support me like this and make these videos possible. Do I play rook d1? Do I play bishop d3? what is my opponent threatening? They may be threatening pawn to b5, but I have that square so much under control, so I'm not so afraid of that. So I think bishop to d3 with the intention of castling should be pretty good. Bishop d3, then how about bishop c5? And then rook d1. I think rook d1 doesn't work because I will then have a bishop on d3. So maybe like a crazy move like knight a4. So let's say bishop c5, knight a4 attacking the bishop. If you go and check, I can put the knight back. I will play this bishop d3. That is sort of the kind of thing that you want. Okay, so we just see knight to d7. So more or less by my own devices, I have gotten into the game a little bit. Now, knight to c5 looks like trouble. That looks like a very, very good square for the knight, like an amazing outpost square, and I'm not sure what I can do about it. Let's say I play knight e4. Knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes, and then knight is just coming to c5. Anyways, that doesn't do anything. If I play, let's say I play castles here, then knight c5, and maybe I have to do something that I don't want to do, like bishop to e2, but maybe it's okay. Let's see if castles is even green. Castles is green. Interestingly, king f2 is also green, which actually looks like kind of a cool move in this position. It does look like a kind of a cool move, but it also looks really, really risky. But as soon as I saw that move, something in my intuition just went, oh, that's what I want to play. But it does look very risky with this diagonal towards the king. So the knight goes somewhere and then check, and I have to play g3, but maybe I am protecting everything. And the reason I'm so big on the reason I'm so big on intuition in life and on this channel and in chess and everywhere is that if you go by your intuition, some people think that intuition is sort of, it taps into some magical realm or spiritual realm or godlike realm or something, which I guess could be true, but that's not really doesn't really fit in my belief system. What I think intuition is all about is, I think that, how to explain it, that it is the non-conscious part of your brain that knows a lot of stuff about a lot of things that may not be relevant to your ego and your consciousness, your self-consciousness, your self-awareness, your will, your freedom of will, all of that. It may not be directly relevant, so it's in the background, but it's giving you signals. So maybe the reason I like, for instance, king to f2 is I can't remember it. My consciousness, my self-awareness has no idea, but maybe I have seen somebody play a move like that or had success in a game I played 5-6 years ago with that move. Maybe I played that move and it was really good because I won the game, but actually, and then I get a positive feedback, so my intuition likes the move now, but maybe it was in reality a bad move that I played, but it's like in poker, like sometimes you can win with doing bad plays because you get lucky, like I go all in on 7-2 on suit and then you get a flop of full house. That can happen, but it's still a bad play. But your intuition will then like that hand and like that play, and you'll have to correct. So the reason I say follow your intuition, the reason I'm going to play king f2 is that if my intuition is right, I want it confirmed, and if it's wrong, I want it falsified, because my intuition can then improve by itself, so I don't have, my conscious self doesn't have to do the work. That's a long explanation, and maybe I should have done calculation instead of doing explanation, but I'm playing intuitively, and I play king to f2. Now, let's see. So at worst it's an inaccuracy. Okay, so very sensible move, rook to c8 by my opponent. That lines up against my queen. And that is concerning. Because moves such as pawn to b5, they look a lot better for black now, because as soon as I smash up this whole situation, then the rook will possibly be attacking the queen, and there could be pins, and it could be very unpleasant. We didn't see some knight c5, which I'm just realizing, because I was considering queen e2, but that's not so good, maybe because knight c5 and this bishop doesn't have a comfortable square to go to. I am actually struggling a bit here. It's not easy exactly to figure out what to do. Something I could do could be just rook on a. Maybe actually rook on h to c1, because then rook on a can go to b1. But of course, if I play rook h to c1, then I won't be able to put it on d1 where it maybe wants to be. So but it still feels better. It feels as if the open d line is somehow going to be less important than the c line and the b line. So let's say rook c1. Is it even a green move? It is not a green move. It is a blunder. Interesting. So I could understand that it would be a mistake, but it's a blunder, so probably it's like it's losing a piece. So does black do they have any sort of killer tactics here? Let's see. How about the other rook? So the other rook can go. So it's probably about defense down here. Look how amazing this chess-up board is. Like, I know I'm super biased because I'm selling the product, but how amazing it is for helping you reach the conclusions yourself. It's like you're having Magnus Carlsen sit next to you and not being super annoyed that you are horrible at chess, but being super patient, just giving you small hints as to what you should be thinking about. I think it's really, really amazing. It's just so intuitive. So probably this rook is doing something important defensively over here. Maybe it's because some knight g, that could actually be it. Knight check on g4, pawn takes. And yeah, we could maybe see like knight e5, and then the other knight here, check, takes, check. I have to move somewhere, and maybe the piece is just come in really fast. Actually, I'm a little bit concerned about knight e5. That looks like a very strong move in general. Also because it's knight e5 will then also it will attack the bishop that I kind of need. I kind of need that bishop. And it attacks this pawn one more time. Knight e5, bishop e2, knight takes, bishop takes, rook takes, I lose a pawn. And I absolutely do not want to play f4. That looks like positional suicide, maybe. Because it's just making the b7 bishop so strong. But what else am I doing is, can I play, let's say, knight e4. Knight takes, bishop takes, knight takes, pawn takes, no, there, let's say, knight e4, knight takes, bishop takes, queen takes, rook takes c4. And that's just devastation for me. How do I defend? How do I defend? How do I defend against knight e5? So apparently rook c is not terrible, but I'm not sure why it isn't terrible. Because the pawn is so weak. Let's say rook c1, knight e5. How about rook d1? Isn't that actually also, the other one can also go to d1 because the knight goes there, and then I can maybe have like crazy discovery. No, because I was hoping something like knight takes. I was okay. So here is. I was thinking knight e5, knight takes e6, pawn takes e6, bishop takes h7 check, king takes h7, or knight takes h7, rook takes queen. The problem is knight. One of the problems, knight e5, knight takes e6, just knight takes d3 check, king rook takes. Actually maybe that's not horrible, because you don't actually have time to recapture with the f pawn, because you have to move the queen, and then the knight can maybe capture the rook. Is that why? So I will play rook on h to d1. And let's see what happens. So we are here to learn. So I was happy that, okay, it's so respectful. It's not just trying to smash me up at all. It just plays bishop d6 here. I guess that it does attack h2. So in a blitz game, I would snap play pawn h3. But that does mean that the diagonal towards the king is very vulnerable. My dark squares will be I guess that will be a mistake or a blunder. No, it actually says it can be an inaccuracy, but not a mistake, not a blunder. That's interesting. Let's just try touch all the pieces and see. Let's let that inform us. That could be what we do for this exact position. That's how we try to learn from this exact position. Okay, so let's take a look. The a pawn, it can go to a5. Maybe that's about protecting against pawn to b5. Then the rook here, either to b2 or either to b1 or c1. Those are both acceptable, apparently. So they both make sense from sort of improving the rook. You know, of course, it rather wants to be on a semi-open file or this semi-open file, but I don't exactly understand how it relates to the tactics going on in the position. The bishop, I guess, cannot have too many green moves. You can play bishop c1. I am pretty sure that's an inaccuracy, guys. I use my amazing chess understanding to saying that's probably an inaccuracy. And if I was playing with a higher assistance level, that would be a blue move or indeed a red move if I was playing with the highest assistance level. Then let's see the queen. D2 and e2 are green. To me, they both kind of look like inaccuracies, but they do get the queen away from the c file. If I were to play any of those moves, I kind of like queen d2, lining up with this rook, potentially looking at this bishop. So that's a move that I kind of like. How about the knight? A lot of red squares. Interestingly, a4 is not on the cards at all. Is there a way it can be trapped? Maybe just b5 takes. I will have to go. No, I can't take because it exposed my queen. So knight a4, b5. If I take, my queen will be exposed. Okay. The pawn, I guess, only red. Yes, because c5 is completely under control from my opponent. All right. How about this rook? It can go to d2. It looks like it's not doing that much, but it may be about making room for the other rook to come to d1, so you can have a battery there. That looks like a move that I probably will not play. This bishop, it can go to e4, and we'll just trade a bunch of stuff. That's not something I'm particularly interested in. I feel it will leave me very vulnerable here on the c file. This knight. So somehow knight b3 could be interesting, but I'm not sure exactly why. It helps this bishop get a clear view of the king. What else? Yeah, and it can go to e2, which doesn't look like it's doing that much. So on b3, it is maybe supporting c5. It will protect against knight or bishop coming to c5. But let's say knight b3, knight c5, knight takes, then they play bishop c5, and now I have a bit of a problem because it's looking at my king, but then maybe bishop d4 is kind of possible. All of these moves apparently less concerned with the fact that the bishop here is actually threatening h2. Can this move? No. That would also be really weird because this knight would be undefended and I would block the threat of potentially capturing on h7 with one of my positional trumps, the queen on c2 and the bishop on d3. It says that it likes that it's not a mistake to play pawn to f4. But guys, isn't that a positional mistake? Like they come in with check, knight check. That looks horrible. Then g3 or g5. g3 does help block out this bishop, and it looks like a move I may end up playing. Also to explore the idea of this artificial castle here, using the king as a defensive piece, not in the far corner, but in the middle sort of corner. And then of course h3 is also, but that looks pretty tough. Okay, so let's say I play queen d2. That was one of the green moves that kind of spoke to me, that I kind of liked, because I'm so concerned with this rook here. Bishop takes h2. Is that not a threat because I can play g3 and trap the bishop? It just looks like the kind of thing where it just plays bishop takes, king takes, and then my king is just like knight check, and the queen will come. It looks very, very, very tough. But on the other hand, it also has attack here on the c file, right? So let's say I play g3, they play b5. I feel like queen d2, that's the move my intuition kind of likes. Queen d2, bishop takes h2. The only way I'm not just losing there is if I have g3. So I think I will try queen to d2 or what. That is the move my intuition is telling me to play. So that is what I will play. Ideally, I will play it. Ideally, I like it here on this diagonal here. That's kind of a lot of my knowledge about chess is built around this first opening I learned. It does capture here. Wow. Okay. So. Okay. Wow. Is it something completely different I can use to justify this? Is it like rook back to h1? Or is it pawn to g3? So this is pretty crazy. Let's see, is it possible to play g3, or is it a blunder? It's not a blunder. It may be an inaccuracy, but it's kind of the only way I can see to justify allowing this. How about rook h1, bishop moves back, rook is now strong, has attack, but I wanna see what happens if I play g3. Pawn to g3. Will it just snap take it? What will happen here? Oh. Okay, that is so interesting. So because I moved the queen, I no longer have bishop takes h. And now it's threatening. Both are threatening on g3. But perhaps I can play something like one of the knights to e2, defending, threatening rook h1, winning the bishop. So let's say that's what I go with. I intuitively like using this knight, but let's take a look. That's green. Somehow also going to e4 is green. e4, bishop takes, pawn takes, check. That can't be right. How about the other one? The other one can go to e2, but I like this. We do it like this. So, oh, right. So they are just going all in on this attack. And I am not sure how I am supposed to defend, to be honest. How am I supposed to defend this for a third time? I mean, I can defend with the rook, but that loses the exchange. Rook g1, bishop takes check, rook takes bishop. That looks pretty horrible. Is that a move? It is somehow considered a move. Maybe I play g4. Yeah, to save the pawn and attack that knight. But then the bishop can just go back and anything else? No, I guess. What? How is that? How is queen e1? Queen e1. How is that supposed to do anything after queen g5? Queen e1, knight takes. I can't play knight takes because then that looks, I don't even want to know. And all these, bishop a3 is green. It looks like it's doing next to nothing. They play rook e8, or they enact the plan right away. So I will probably get just tactically annihilated here, which is fair, because I am playing a superhuman computer, but I will play pawn to g4. It does attack the knight. It does also allow queen h4 check, which maybe, I guess, only move here is king g2. I completely missed this, and for future videos I will have to consider that I can't switch off my tactical brain too much and only rely on intuition, because a move like this, even though it may somehow be defensible to allow it, I will not wish for myself to somehow be in a situation where I allow these moves that has very practical chances of just destroying me. I will not want to allow those because I don't see them. If I allow them, I want it to be because I have seen them and figured out. So I guess king g2 is the only move. Yes, apparently king f1. But king f2 and then bishop, then queen takes pawn, and then king takes h1. Because if I play king g2, then the bishop here will be pinning this pawn. But I will be attacking the bishop, so we will try this. And it looks like the game may be coming to a close, but I feel I have already learned quite a bit. Okay, so they keep on attacking. So we do have the f3 square defended by the knight. So what could my opponent be contemplating here? Can I capture the knight? That seems like it's not going to work at all ever. Pawn takes knight. Pawn takes knight, and then what's the blow? Is it that they are just playing queen g4 check? King takes h2. Knight takes. Can I take it? It does say it's green. And it is one less piece to worry about. But it does not look pretty. How about rook h1? No, maybe that's the only. Or I can play e4 in order to stop this guy here. But I'm going to throw myself into the fray, if that's a thing that you can say, and I will capture the knight, because then at least I have some material. And it's a green move, obviously an inaccuracy, but it's okay. So we see bishop takes here, check, and I thought I was doing okay because I thought I could just capture with the knight, which is the move. It's the only move, so we do that. Okay, and we see check. And I can't capture the bishop because knight takes check will then fork the king and the queen, and I will lose the queen. So I will have to play a very tough move here. King h1. f1, or possibly even f2, somehow trying to escape, even though it is probably futile. Anyone is all or red. So the only move apparently is to block with the knight. That will just be taken. And so it looks like I am just getting absolutely destroyed here. So this knight move is the only. And the queen captures. Check. So I guess there's only one legal move. And like I could go here. So what I don't understand is king h1, queen takes, knight check, king takes h2. Of course, after queen takes f3, there's no knight takes f3 because the square will be occupied by the queen. So instead, I guess we will see knight takes, attacking the queen and defending h1, so I can't play queen takes h2. So we will try, we will see. We will see. Okay, it does capture like this. So one legal move. Takes knight check. So I will. So we have to block with the queen here. I like how it said that I was only giving, this was only inaccuracies that made that got me into this position, because I mean it looks like I am being totally 100% annihilated. So pretty sure I have to play rook takes. Yeah, rook takes. And probably bishop somewhere. No. Okay, yeah, it's just taking all the pawns. Because I thought for a second I was naive enough to think that I could play king takes h2. Of course, there's no such move. Because rook c2 check, and I'm just toast. So I was playing a couple of inaccuracies against Stockfish, just a couple of inaccuracies, and I still have 2 rooks and a bishop versus 2 rooks and a bishop. I also have 3 pawns that are all isolated lonely pawn islands, like lonely islands, versus 6 pawns, which I don't know about you, but I'm not completely confident that I can defend that endgame. Not even sure what to play here. So king takes, wait, like this actually green, because but it just trades down. Bishop. I was hoping that bishop bishop d4 would be good, but it's not. So I think that this position now is so unbalanced. If I had this position against a strong player in a classical time control, I would resign. So I will do sort of the equivalent here. I will play out the game pretty quickly, because I'm not necessarily interested in learning too much about losing, like, because there won't be any tricks. That's the thing. There's no way to trick Stockfish. So if I was playing like a much lower rated opponent and somehow blundered myself into this position, then maybe I could play on for a little bit, because maybe they would miss something, but probably I would just resign out of respect. King f3, rook h4, just capturing the pawn. And then I guess rook c2, just trade down, or just save this. Then I want to play king. I can't get away to defend. Can I play bishop d4? No, still. No way. How about rook d7? Yeah, rook d7. Sort of an aggressive move in a completely lost position, and they can just do that. So I have to jump back. They trade down. They nullify my pseudo attack here. Maybe I can get a draw by exploiting some sort of repetition bug, like in in that crazy video I had with Mephisto versus the chess-up board Stockfish here. Okay, so that pawn is being targeted, and of course now rook takes c7 doesn't work because rook d2 check, king f3, and now they can capture on b2 because rook c8 will no longer be checkmate after they made luft for their king. I still want to play bishop d4, and now I can play it. Hooray! And they chase it away immediately. I will have to move it, or capture that. Rook takes, pawn takes, pawn takes, rook takes. I lose a pawn, so rook takes. Well, it says it's okay, but I don't believe it is. I will play here. And here I will try to create a threat. Rook c6. They protect and create a threat. They have a threat of capturing on e3 and of the check, so I will capture this pawn. Then I guess just, oh, interesting. Here, is there any way check? No. So I'm thinking bishop c7, trying to gang up on the b6 pawn. It captures here. And then I was hoping that I could capture the b6 pawn so that my pawn on e3 is safe for a second. Now I have to protect here. And okay, activate the king. And I guess it will say that most moves are just green because nothing I do. Maybe I will try for the repetition thing. Check. Here, back, because there is this in Stockfish. I have a whole video where just something absolutely amazing happens that I want you to check out. That apparently in the newest version of Stockfish there is some sort of bug where you can trick it into a repetition. Check. I'll throw a lot of checks. It even says that taking the pawn doesn't change the evaluation meaningfully. Okay, more repetition, baiting, check, check, here, pawn check, could be lucky, king, e5, that it doesn't do anything right. And they are playing pawn to g4 check in just a second. So any moves, it just says everything is green because nothing changes the evaluation. Like the only way I can lose faster is by capturing the a6 pawn. But of course I do have the secret draw trick that I may be able to get. So king g3. Here it wants push h5 that I will defend against. Right. Here I have to defend against that. Then h5, h4. Okay, it's very, very calm. Go back to g2. I feel like somehow this is how they were used to feel when they were playing Karpov or Capablanca. Like, it's just you're playing against the tide, basically. It's coming in, there's just no way. There's nothing you can do about it. There's just nothing you can do about it. It's just, it's coming for me. It's coming for me. So of course the game has been over for a long time, but I'm just checking out the technique. The machine is doing absolutely nothing fancy here. King f3 is next, I guess. The only move that's not red is rook h2 check. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Okay, also rook c2. And takes. And check. And here. And I will try. Wait a minute. If I do this. Wait a minute. Then rook e1 is checkmate. So, but apparently I have no way of stopping checkmate. But if I play rook c1, it's not checkmate in 1, which it is if I play rook anywhere else. So rook c1, check. Here, king there. And now there's no way of stopping checkmate except maybe rook g1. Rook g1, pawn g2 check, rook takes, g2, rook e1 check. Like, or I think it's actually playing, I think it will allow the stylish finish. I think it will play rook e1. Oh, it doesn't. It makes a queen. That is check. And then I will capture with the king. That's the only legal move. And that right here is checkmate. Boom. So, thanks for the game to Chess Up. And to all of you guys, the new guys and the regulars who has been watching, I hope you learned something. Of course, Chess Up won this game, but the real winners, of course, were you and me. Because this machine, even though it is powered by a neural network, probably didn't learn too much from this game. But I did, and I hope you did as well. And if you didn't, I hope you had a good, relaxing time. Put a comment in the video if you want me to analyze this game and do a video about where I went wrong and what I should have done instead and the lesson learned from this game. Thanks for watching. I hope I will see you in the next video. Also, you can buy this board on pre-order using the